Okay, Module 3 for Lecture 3 is this module about teamwork. So I'll start, first of all, have I mentioned that it's really important to read the textbooks? I think you should know that by now. And so what we're going to talk about today is basically what was covered in chapters 1 through 5 of the Making Teams Work. This is a crucial part of the teamwork portion of our class, is really understanding what makes a team work. Remember, we've talked about the fact that almost all of your classes in architecture and most of them in construction management require you to work in teams. But we have no course in the school that teaches you how to make teams work or how to lead teams. That's why I've added this module to this course, and we'll actually be touching on this subject throughout the rest of this quarter. So let's get started with this. Key thing to understanding what makes teams work is there's 3 principal characteristics of a team. And you're going to hear me repeat this over and over, and you're going to see it in quizzes and exams as well. But these 3 characteristics, and the reason why I want you to be clear on it, is that the team must have a clear common goal. That's crucial. If there's no goal, then how do you organize the team to do something? Secondly, the goal must require individuals to work together. If you can reach the goal by yourself, why do you need to do something that has a team? That's an important question to always ask. Do we need a team to do this? Then third, when the goal is achieved, all of the team members benefit. And the reason why this team leadership is so important in the construction management world is we develop that clear common goal quite easily. It's get this building built on time, on budget, and meet the customer's needs. It requires hundreds of individuals to work together, and we need to make sure that when we structure the deal, that in the end, all of the team members benefit. So these are very important characteristics that I want you to remember throughout this course and throughout the rest of your career. So I was watching a presentation on the 5 dysfunctions of a team, and it's really interesting. They took the pyramid that has been used for years on what makes a team, the foundation of trust, the ability to resolve conflict, the commitment of each other to success, the accountability of one to each other, of each member to each other, and then the end results of the output of the team. The 5 dysfunctions is the inverse of that. Inattention to results, avoiding accountability, lacking commitment, fear of conflict, and the absence of trust are the things that will destroy a team and its ability to succeed. So let's get back to that clear common goal. The clear common goal has to clearly state what the team needs to accomplish. And this needs to be defined, and all of the team members have to understand it. It needs to be motivating. It needs to demand action and decisiveness. It can't be something that doesn't require that group to work together. It has to be short and pungent. Let's build that building. Let's destroy that bridge. Let's win that game. Whatever the goal is, it has to be clear. And to be clear, it can't be lengthy and convoluted. So short and pungent is important. It has an outcome that individuals cannot achieve alone. I'm going to climb that mountain does not require a team. I'm going to climb Mount Everest requires a team because one individual can't do it by themselves. Remember, all of the team members must believe they can achieve the goal. If you don't have people who believe they can achieve the goal, then you've got the wrong people on the bus. And that's the teamwork term that you hear over and over again, of this Get the right people on the bus. So make sure that your goal is motivating, it demands action, it's short and pungent, individuals cannot achieve it alone, and everyone believes they can achieve that goal. Clarify member skills and responsibilities. Understand what the team members are capable of doing. If everyone is an administrator and no one is a doer, you do not have a team that is going to succeed. If you ended up with a team of excavators who were going to be the only team that formed your building, you would not succeed. You need to be able to take care of the technical capabilities of the various members of the team. You need to understand what their skills are. Are they more focused on research and data? Are they more focused on assimilation and output? Are they more focused on soft-sided things? What are the skills that the team has? Then you need to define and form the rules. We call this the Constitution, and we'll be doing more work on the team constitution a little bit later in the quarter. But understanding that we must define and form rules in order to be able to work together is very, very important. We also need to know how to collaborate. And collaboration is the key and backbone of team leading. If you can help people collaborate, not just show up and report, but literally work together and utilize the strengths of each member to build upon the strengths of the other members, you will be able to really develop a better team. Know how to work to consensus. We will do a lecture on the difference between consensus and compromise. But consensus is a really key element. And consensus is more than just the majority rules. Consensus is the majority listening to the minority and trying to meet the needs of all parties. We need to be able to build that basic team skill. Managing conflict. Getting up and yelling at each other isn't the best solution to managing conflict. Using techniques that take heated discussion out of the meeting into an offline separate meeting to be able to resolve something and bringing that in once the conflict has been resolved is a better way to manage those things. Another key basic team skill that is crucial is once a decision is reached, there is only one voice no matter which team member uses it. But the answer is the team decided we're going to do this. When I was mayor, we had to deal with a lot of things in executive session because we had several orders of litigation going. And one of the key elements is that when we came out of executive session, there was only one voice, and that voice was the board has decided. The reason we went into executive session is that individuals could voice their opinions, we could resolve conflicts between those opinions, and then we could make a decision. But once the door opened from that executive session, the board spoke with one voice. Whether it was myself or any of the other trustees or the village administrator, the board decided was the key. So remember that that's a very important element in leading a team as well, is getting people to the point where all the conflicts are resolved, and when we go out of the room, it's we all decided this is what we're going to do, as opposed to, yeah, everybody else wanted to do that and I had to go along, but I really thought this. That will undermine a team, and we cannot deal with that. Speaking with one voice is a crucial element of successful team leading. Okay, well, there's all kinds of team leading, team building sessions that we've seen over time. And quite often a company will bring in a facilitator to get a group of people. I love this cartoon because it really does cover some of the funny sides of it, because usually a team building exercise is taking a group of people who have not worked together successfully as a team and helping them build those team building skills. So here one of them says, hey Mike, Carmel, you go to the garden store and get 5 bags of lime. Dana, Gord, Jill, get me a tarp and some carpet, then check Google Earth for a secluded stretch of highway. The rest of you, you'll help me bury the facilitator, who, ironically, has apparently just built the most successful team building exercise in our company's history. So it's hard work to be the facilitator to get people to work together, but once you've got that capability, you're going to build and lead very good teams. Coming together is the beginning, staying together is progress, but working together is success. That's a great statement, because throughout your career, you're going to be pulled together with teams that are not necessarily people of your choice, but they are selected by the bidding process. These will be the lowest priced, best qualified bidder that is selected to do that portion of the project. So you've got to bring that disparate group together, get them to work together, and then you'll meet the success that's necessary. Because remember, we're looking to make sure that this is a project that one person can't do by themselves. It requires multiple people, it has a clear common goal, and all of us will benefit when we get together. Take times for rules. This is the essence of the team constitution. That team constitution is going to tell you how you're going to work together. What is the frequency of meetings? Are we going to have a job site meeting every Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning? And who needs to be there? What are the rules of attendance? How prepared does somebody need to come? Or do we all just show up and shoot the breeze about the issues? Or are we coming together to resolve issues? What are the communications paths? This is a really important element to resolve in a team. Does all of the information have to go up to the leader and then the leader distributes it back to the team? Or does it just get broadcast over and over among team members? Resolving the communications paths becomes really critical, because if you broadcast to everyone, you're going to consume everyone's time because they all think they're supposed to solve the problem. If you structure it so that the communications path is there's one person who takes all of the requests for information or all of the addenda or all of the model and dispenses them to the team member who has the greatest ability to respond to it, you're going to resolve and solve time management problems for a lot of team members. So stay focused on that. The last thing is you need to be able to agree to, in writing, how are we going to resolve conflicts? Are we always going to have to compromise? Are we always going to use consensus? Are we going to potentially have to go to an outside mediator to resolve those conflicts? Whatever the method you decide to use, everyone needs to agree to it. And oh, by the way, once you've got your team constitution put together, you want everybody's wet signature on that. You want that signature to show that they are committed to that problem resolution. Now, let's talk about how we can get to avoiding predictable problems. It's crucial that you have the right team on the bus. The people that are needed to resolve the problem are included in the team. Keep your meetings disciplined. If it's budgeted for 1 hour, you make sure you have an agenda that says how much time can be spent on each item. You make sure that people have the information to be prepared for that meeting. And then if something starts to take more time than what you've allotted, take that lengthy discussion offline, meaning pull it out of your agenda at that point, assign a couple people to deal with it, and have them come back and report to the rest of the group at the next meeting. Understand that there are dominators. There are people who will talk all the time. There are people who will talk over other people. There are people who will dominate the discussion because they can intimidate other people. You need to understand how to control those things. Quite often, the best way is to find someone who doesn't have a forceful personality, who needs to bring something to it, and you need to reach to that person and ask them a specific question that they can focus on. And then you need to hold the dominators off so that they don't override that person's answer. Limit the time one person can speak. If you've got 5 minutes on your agenda for a topic to cover, you can't afford to have one person talk for 7 minutes on it. Limit people to 1 minute, keep track of that time, and then resolve the issue as best you can. Stay alert when leading the meetings. There is absolutely nothing funnier than some of the old video clips of Tip O'Neill sitting in the front of the House, dozing off with his head bobbing to the side while the House is discussing a bill that's on the floor. You must stay alert because people will look to you as the team leader to keep the meeting on task, to keep the people capable of leading you to solutions actively engaged, and to keep others from dominating the meeting. Hold each other accountable. When you get together and do your team constitution, you're going to agree to the rules by which you work. If someone is not doing their portion of the work, it's incumbent upon the team to hold them accountable. Now, one of the ways that it's important to do that is by peer review. One of the methods for peer review is saying, how do we have people worked on this team together, and rating each other, including yourself. And when we get to the team project later in the quarter, I'll give you a form that we can use for that. But for right now, I'm going to go through this series of different levels of accountability and performance. If you think of it as a 6-point scale, somebody getting a 1 would be not acceptable and somebody getting a 6 would be excellent. You need to have a rubric by which you can measure that. And that rubric can be, they get excellent if they've consistently performed at a highest level, exceeding expectation, helped teammates, carried more than the fair share of the workload. Very good. They've consistently met expectations, sometimes exceeding them. They accepted responsibility for a fair workload and sometimes did more. They were always well prepared. Good. Consistently met expectations. Usually well prepared and cooperative. Strong contributor. Usually did what was asked, but little more. Acceptable. Usually prepared, but not always. Frequently met expectations, but sometimes was lacking in preparation, attendance, or cooperation. Mostly did what was asked, but never went beyond that. Acceptable, in this case to me, is not a healthy team member. That person is going to need to be supported by other team members, or is going to need to be held accountable for doing their work, because remember, it requires all of us to do this together. If someone is marginal, they sometimes are prepared, sometimes not. Sometimes miss assignments or meetings, contribute very little during the meetings or assignments. But then you have the not acceptable. Contributed little or nothing. Missed meetings, blew off assignments on a regular basis, no output, didn't help the other team members, required the other team members to carry an extra workload, rarely participated during meetings, or behavior was counterproductive in those meetings. This accountability is really a crucial element to building a healthy team, and it can't wait till the team is in trouble. It needs to be discussed early on. Okay, some key takeaways for the team module here is forge that clear common goal, clarify the member's skills and responsibilities, build that constitution, take time for rules early on, avoid predictable problems, and hold each other accountable. These are key elements when you put a team together. Remember, the team will not reach the goal unless it functions as a team. And remember, the reason we work in teams is none of us is as smart as all of us. The ability of having a group of like-minded individuals working on a common goal will always produce a better result. And that's the end of this module for today.